All right, let's talk about a story. One of the most famous and maybe one of the most misunderstood ghost stories in all of Southeast Asia. You might think you know the Krasue, but trust me, there's so much more just beneath the surface. Okay, I want you to really put yourself here for a second. Imagine you're walking home late at night in a super quiet village. You know the kind. It's just you, the sound of crickets, and this feeling that's kind of peaceful, but also, a little bit spooky. And then you see something. Out over the fields, there's this weird glowing light. It's just floating there. It's not a car, it's not a flashlight, it's just moving. My heart would be hammering in my chest. What's the first thing that goes through your mind? Okay, so let's make this real. You have to walk past this. Do you just power through and keep going, or do you nope right out of there and turn back immediately? Tell me what you do, hit the poll. 1 for keep going, 2 for turn back. Be honest. All right, that light, it's a warning sign. A sign that one of the most terrifying figures in folklore is nearby, the Krasue. Let's look at this nightmare image that so many of us know. So what is a Krasue? Well, officially, she's a nocturnal female spirit. But what everyone remembers is the image. It's a woman's head, just floating through the night. And hanging right below her are all her internal organs. Yeah, the heart, the intestines, the whole thing. It's a picture you really can't unsee. And the details of the story are what make it so creepy and weirdly specific. See, during the day, she's just a regular woman. She could be your neighbor. Young, maybe beautiful, totally normal. But when the sun goes down, her head just detaches, leaves the body behind hidden somewhere safe. She floats off, following that eerie glow, looking for food. We're talking raw meat, blood, really gross stuff. And her targets? Sometimes animals, but the most chilling stories are about her going after pregnant women. But here's the catch. She's on a clock. She has to get back to her body before the sun rises, or it's all over.
Okay, so that's the horror part. But, and this is the really important part, behind that terrifying monster, there's a person, a woman. And her story is usually less about being evil and more about being incredibly, deeply tragic. So who was she? How did this happen to her?
And this quote right here, it nails it. The scariest stories aren't really about the monsters themselves. They're about us. They're about human pain. And the Krasue is a perfect example. The floating head is scary, sure, but the real story is the tragedy of the woman who's trapped as one. So how did she become a Krasue? The stories almost always point to tragedy, not malice. Sometimes she's a woman paying for some sin from a past life, or she tried to learn black magic to gain some power or protect herself, and a spell just went completely wrong. In some versions, it's even worse. It's a curse that gets passed down through the family, from mother to daughter. One of the most famous legends is about a Khmer princess who was betrayed by the man she loved. She was sentenced to be burned alive, and her magic could only save her head and organs, leading her in this endless, hungry nightmare. See? It's all rooted in pain. When you hear these stories of curses and magic gone wrong, you start to see a pattern. And it's a pattern that pops up all over the world. The idea of a dangerous woman, a monster in female form, is a fear we see in so many cultures. Just look at this comparison. It's really striking. The Krasue is always a woman, usually lives in the community but is seen as an outsider. The Western witch, over 75% of those persecuted were women, also accused of being isolated or strange. Both are tied to dark magic, and what happens to them? They're hunted by their own terrified neighbors. It's the same fear, just wearing a different cultural mask. So what's really going on here? Well, stories like this were often a way to keep people in line, especially women. If a woman was too independent, or maybe just quiet and kept to herself, if she didn't fit the mold, she could become a target of suspicion. The ghost story becomes a warning. Don't be different, or you could be seen as the monster. And this isn't just a Thai story, not at all. This is a nightmare shared across an entire region. It's like a whole family of phantoms spread across Southeast Asia. In Thailand, we call her Krasue, but in Cambodia, she's the Ahap. Go over to Malaysia, and you'll hear tales of the Penanggalan. In Indonesia, the Layak or Kuyang. The Philippines has the Manananggal. Vietnam, the Malay. The name changes, but that core idea, the terrifying floating head, it's everywhere. This is why this story is so incredible. It connects so many of us. So I'd love to learn from you. What's the version of this legend from your home country or your region? Drop it in the comments. Let's see all the different faces of this shared story together. So what makes this legend stick? Why is it so effective? Well, you've got the human core, right? The tragedy of the woman that makes you feel a little sad for her. Then you have the visual, that floating head, you'll never forget it. The setting is key too, a small village where everyone knows everyone. But the real gut punch, the thing that makes this legend so chilling, is the reveal. The monster isn't coming from the forest. The monster is your neighbor, the person you say hello to every single morning. That's the deepest fear, the betrayal of the familiar. All right, so from old village ghost stories, how does the Krasue survive in the 21st century? Well, she didn't just survive, she got a major upgrade. And don't get me wrong, people in rural areas still talk about seeing her. The original belief is still very much alive. But these days, her biggest hunting ground isn't the rice paddies, it's the entire world through our screens. I mean, she's basically a horror icon now. She's the star of countless Thai and Cambodian horror movies. She's been in TV shows, comic books, even funny commercials. And then she went truly global. She became a playable killer in the video game Dead by Daylight. Suddenly, millions of people who'd never heard of a Thai ghost story were running from her. That's a huge leap. This quote from PRD Thailand just says it all. A local myth can jump borders and become something you can interact with. A story whispered in a village is now a digital monster you can play as. It's a fantastic example of Thai culture's soft power, sharing its unique stories with the whole world. So the Krasue isn't just a village ghost anymore. She's evolved. She's now a global icon, a piece of Thai culture that has reached millions and millions of people. She's proof that the best stories never really die. They just find new ways to haunt us. So think about where we started, with a scary monster, a floating head. But look where we've ended up. We found a tragic woman, a mirror of our own social fears, and now a powerful cultural symbol. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. What does the fact that this specific story has survived for so long and is now stronger than ever tell us about what we're really afraid of? Hey, if you're into stories that are more than just a cheap scare, and you enjoyed this deeper look, do me a favor and save this explainer. It really helps. And one last thing. Every country has a legend like this, a story that deserves a global spotlight. So, what story from your home needs to be told? Comment with the country you want us to dive into next. We'd love to explore it with you.